Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. First, Amrit Snan of the Maha Kumbh Mela, the world's largest religious congregation, taking place today. Millions gather in Prayagraj for the holy dip. Firefighters in Los Angeles brace for more trouble as strong Santa Ana winds set to return. Looting adds to the misery of displaced as US President Biden says rebuilding the city will cost billions. Oscar nominations postponed for second time amid ongoing wildfires in Los Angeles. Biden says ceasefire deal on the brink of coming to fruition. Negotiators to meet in Doha to finalize plan to end conflict in Gaza after a midnight breakthrough in talks.
The war between Israel and Hamas are on the brink of a proposal that I laid out in detail months ago, finally coming to fruition.
South Korea on edge as suspended President Yoon's impeachment trial begins today. Court to decide if insurrection charges will apply against him. All right, we'll begin this edition of DD India Live with the news from Maha Kumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. And the Maha Kumbh 2025, which began in Prayagraj with chants of bhajans and slogans on Posh Purnima on January 13, witnessing its first Amrit Snan or royal bath of akhadas on the second day of the Maha Kumbh. Millions of people gather in Prayagraj to take a holy dip in Sangam, the confluence of River Ganga, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati. This Maha Kumbh is being held after 12 years, although sayers claim that the celestial alignments and cosmic combinations for the event are occurring after 144 years, making the occasion even more auspicious. The Kumbh Mela, one of the largest religious gatherings in the world, continues to draw millions of pilgrims with various rituals, cultural activities and spiritual events scheduled throughout the festival. All right, we'll go across to Prayagraj now. DD India Siddharth Bhardwaj is joining us on the phone line. Siddharth, record number of devotees taking part in first Amrit Snan on Makar Sankranti. Describe the scenes there. The first Amrit Snan also holds significance because the akharas are participating in it.
Oh, definitely. A very good morning to you, Abhishek, from the holy land of Prayagraj. You know, as far as I can see, there are just huge influx of people who are coming, not just all across the country, but all across the world as well. The international pilgrims are also making their way to the holy land of Prayagraj, and today is the first Amrit Snan on Makar Sankranti. And, you know, record number of people are already here as far as I can see, and more people will come, you know, as the day will progress. Panchayati Akhara Mahanirvani and also Shambhu Panchayati Atal Akhara, they have taken the Amrit Snan, and the other akharas will follow. 13 akharas are there and they have been given this sequence, Abhishek, and according to the sequence, they will be, taking Amrit Snan today. It holds a great significance. That's the reason that people from all over the country, international pilgrims as well as, are coming to take holy dip in the holy waters of Trivedi Sangam, which is confluence of River Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. The environment, the atmosphere here is completely, mesmerizing. People, we had a word with some people as well here, and they are saying that, and also, Abhishek, as far as the weather is concerned, it's foggy here. The temperature is dipping, but like I keep on saying that this dipping temperature cannot break the enthusiasm, all the devotees, all the pilgrims who are coming here from all walks of life. In fact, they are saying that, they'll be taking dip in the holy waters of, like I just mentioned, Triveni Sangam. Such is the devotion, Abhishek, with which people come here every time. And this is not the first time it's happening, but this time around, there is much more comfort for all the pilgrims, like I also mentioned to you earlier as well, in terms of ease of finding places to eat, ease of finding places to stay. And, if there is anything, they just have to scan the QR code and it's done. And also, we also had a word about the security arrangements and all the arrangements that have been put in place to make sure that this largest religious gathering on earth, in fact, the largest religious peaceful gathering on earth, remains safe and peaceful. And everything goes in very smooth line manner. So that's how
the religious gathering, Siddharth,
to make sure that
Kumbh Mela occurs every 3 years in 4 different locations. However, Mahakumbh is organized every 12 years. But Mahakumbh 2025 is more special not only because of its religious significance, but also because of the rare celestial alignment that occurs only once every 144 years.
This holds a very rich significance. We had a word regarding this earlier as well. You can just imagine the intensity of which the people are coming here, and the best part is, Abhishek, that they are not invited. I mean, and this is an inner call. This is something your heart says, right? So that's the reason why people are, coming in here from all parts of the country. This particular Kumbh, this is Mahakumbh, which comes after 12 years, Abhishek, and when you multiply 12 into 12, it becomes 144. So when that happens, it becomes Purna Mahakumbh. So you can imagine this intensity with which people are coming. You can, the amount of devotion becomes manifold, when this sort of alignment takes place. And people are coming here, they are carrying luggage on their heads because, buses are stopped like 20-25 kilometers. So they're just walking. And last night also, when I was going from this bridge called Shastri Bridge, I could see people, thousands and thousands of people are walking the bridge with the luggage on their head in such dipping temperatures. And it was foggy last night as well. So you can see that nothing can break their enthusiasm if they have made up their mind to come and take holy dip in the holy waters of Triveni Sangam. And also, apart from that, people are also complimenting India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and also UP CM Yogi Adityanath for all the dynamic arrangements that have been made for them. They are saying that they don't have to ask anything from anyone now. They just have to scan their phone. They just have to scan and they get to know that what to do, where to do, what to eat, where to eat. It's so simple, Abhishek. Apart from that, the volunteers that are being deployed here inside the Kumbh Mela premises, they are also monitoring everything, with their phones. So it's that simple. Also, Abhishek, for the ease of pilgrims, I was also mentioning earlier as well that water ATM machines have been put in. So, Abhishek, you put a coin of 1 rupee and you get 1 liter of fresh, pure water.
Right.
So, how incredible is that? I mean, a liter of water bottle costs somewhere around 18 to 20 rupees in the market, and here around 450 to 500 million people are expected to come. So you see that in 1 rupee you're getting 1 liter of fresh and pure water. What better than that?
Right, everything has been managed properly, and millions gather, like you said, in Prayagraj for the holy dip. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest from Prayagraj, Siddharth. Now, Makar Sankranti, celebrated across India with different names and traditions, marks the transition of the sun into the zodiac sign Capricorn. Known as a harvest festival, it symbolizes the end of winters and the beginning of longer, sunnier days. Has more on the festive spirit.
Makar Sankranti, also known as Uttarayan, Pongal and Lori in different parts of India, is a festival of joy, harvest and gratitude. The day is marked by colorful traditions, from flying kites in Gujarat to celebrating Pongal in South. The festival holds immense religious significance, the devotees taking dips in sacred rivers like the Ganga and Yamuna, offering special prayers to sun god and seeking blessings for health and prosperity. As the skies fill with colorful kites and hearts with renewed hope, Makar Sankranti is a reminder to celebrate life's transition with joy and gratitude. Down south, Makar Sankranti transforms into Sankranti Sambaralu. In Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, it is celebrated as Pongal and Sankranti Sambaralu respectively. It is celebrated as a 4-day festival where families decorate their homes with rangoli, also called as kolams, and prepare special dishes. Holy dips are a significant part of celebrations in states like West Bengal and Bihar, where the festival is called Posh Sankranti. People gather at riversides to pray and take part in fairs. From north to south and east to west, Makar Sankranti showcases India's unity in diversity, celebrating the harvest, nature and gratitude. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch Mission Mausam on Tuesday as part of the events marking the 150th Foundation Day of the India Met Department. Has more.
In a landmark occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to launch Mission Mausam, a groundbreaking initiative to make India a weather-ready and climate-smart nation. This transformative program will be unveiled as part of the 150th Foundation Day celebrations of the India Meteorological Department.
There will be first 2 sessions on early warning for all. There will be 1 session on the early warning for all in a global perspective, another session on early warning for all national perspective. The objective is to take stock of the current status of weather and climate services in the globe and in the country, the gap areas, and to strategize the plans of actions to fill those gaps and to improve the services for the people.
Prime Minister Modi will also unveil the IMD Vision 2047 document, a roadmap for weather forecasting, climate change mitigation, and adaptive strategies.
We will have a Vision 2047 which will be released, and also that document brings out about the current status and strategy to move in this Amrit Kal to have an India which will be weather ready and climate smart by 2047.
With Mission Mausam and the IMD Vision 2047, India takes a giant leap towards a climate-smart future. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
And Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan will attend the 9th Armed Forces Veterans Day event in Akhnur city of Jammu. The event that will honour the Armed Forces veterans and Veer Naris will be celebrated at Tanda Base, where Rajnath Singh will also inaugurate Akhnur Heritage Museum during his visit. The Jammu and Kashmir Cultural Department will present cultural performances reflecting the region's rich cultural heritage. As a special gesture, mobility equipment like motorized wheelchairs, e-scooters and auto rickshaws will also be distributed to the veterans. The event reflects the Army's respect and unwavering commitment to care for the war widows and veterans who served the nation with pride and dedication. And we now get you this report on the relevance of the Armed Forces Veterans Day filed by DD India's Nandita Dagar.
The Armed Forces Veterans Day is celebrated in India on January the 14th to pay respects to the ex-servicemen for their selfless duty and sacrifices and to reinforce solidarity towards the next of kin of these brave hearts. Wreath-laying ceremonies and veterans rallies are organized all across the country to mark the day. Armed Forces Veterans Day is celebrated on the 14th of January every year to recognize the service rendered by the first Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army, Field Marshal K.M. Kariyappa, who retired on this day in 1953. The day was first celebrated in 2016 and it is commemorated every year by hosting interactive events in the honor of the ex-servicemen. The Defence Minister usually leads the celebrations by asserting the unwavering commitment of the Indian government towards the welfare of ex-servicemen. But the day also reminds the citizens that it is a collective responsibility of the people to treat the soldiers and their dependents as their own family and ensure that they stand with them always. The bravery, integrity, and professionalism of the Indian soldier is respected and recognized not just by the whole country but by the entire world. Sagar Samvad, Vayu Samvedana, and Samman magazines are yearly journals published by the Directorate of Ex-Servicemen Affairs of the Indian Navy, Air Force, and Indian Army, respectively. They relay information, policies, and various topics of interest for the veterans. In New Delhi, this is Nandita Dagar for DD India.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. North Korea fires unidentified projectile towards the east coast of South Korea. Greenland ready to work with US on defense ties. And the India Open is set to kick off on Tuesday in New Delhi.
This week on Defense Dynamics, unravel the secrets behind India's revolutionary CATS warrior prototype. What are these CATS and how will they redefine the warfare? Why is making fighter jet engines still a monumental challenge? We analyze the hurdles. Can Donald Trump bring an end to Ukraine war after January 20th? A geopolitical analysis you can't miss. Updates on India-Maldives defense ties and the evolving dynamics of Afghan-India relations. This Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Dangerously high winds returned to Los Angeles on Monday, jeopardizing efforts to contain massive wildfires. Fire crews were able to keep the fires from spreading overnight and are preparing for increased winds in the days ahead. More than 8,500 firefighters attacked the fires from the air and on the ground, preventing the conflagrations at either end of Los Angeles from spreading overnight. Officials says the state was pre-positioning firefighting crews in vulnerable areas, not just in Los Angeles but also in other Southern California counties that were also under elevated fire danger. Meanwhile, Mexican firefighters arrived in Los Angeles over the weekend on Saturday to assist in battling the ongoing LA wildfires. The team was briefed alongside their American counterparts before being deployed to the fire lines on Monday following a required training in Riverside. And US President Joe Biden convened senior White House and administration officials for a briefing on the federal response to the Los Angeles fires and said California fire recovery will cost tens of billions of dollars. Joe Biden announced additional disaster assistance for California, covering costs for debris removal and emergency protective measures.
You know, although the federal government is going to cover 100% of the cost for the next 180 days for things like firefighter overtime pay, debris removal, temporary shelters. It's going to cost tens of billions of dollars to get Los Angeles back to where it was. So we're going to need Congress to step up to provide funding to get this done. And we're going to get that done, God willing.
President-elect Donald Trump is also planning to visit the disaster zone after he is inaugurated next week, with thousands of homeowners facing a costly rebuilding. Large commercial banks, including JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America, have announced plans to ease mortgage repayment conditions for the afflicted. Insurers are looking at historic losses. And the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has postponed the announcement of this year's Oscar nominations for a second time due to the ongoing wildfires in Los Angeles. The nominations for the film industry's highest honors will now be announced on January 23rd. They originally had been set for this Friday and then moved to January 19th. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences also moved its nomination announcement online as Hollywood tries to navigate the somber mood at a time it would usually be in full throttle on the red carpet. The Academy also cancelled the annual Oscar nominees' lunch, which had been set for February 10th. The Academy Awards telecast is still scheduled to take place on March the 2nd. However, the Grammys slated for February the 2nd will proceed as planned despite the devastating fires scorching Los Angeles. Shifting focus, high-stakes negotiations aimed at ending over 15 months of conflict in Gaza and securing the release of hostages held by Hamas are reportedly advancing. Mediators gave Israel and Hamas a final draft of deal on Monday after a midnight breakthrough in talks attended by envoys of both outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump. Biden said a ceasefire and hostage release deal he had championed was on the brink of coming to fruition, and Hamas said it was keen on reaching an agreement.
And the war between Israel and Hamas are on the brink of a proposal that I laid out in detail months ago, finally coming to fruition. The deal we restructured would free the hostages, halt the fighting, provide security to Israel, and allow us to significantly surge humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians who suffered terribly in this war that Hamas started. Israel deserves peace and real security. And the hostages and their families deserve to be reunited. And so we're working urgently to close this deal.
Now, President Biden will speak to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi soon, as he earlier did with leaders of Israel and Qatar, while another round of talks are planned in Doha on Tuesday morning to finalize remaining details. Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and Biden's envoy Brett McGurk expected to attend as they had on Monday. An Israeli official said negotiations were in advanced stages for the release of up to 33 hostages as part of the deal. The United States, Qatar and Egypt have worked for more than a year on talks to end the conflict in Gaza. As this presidency nears its end, Joe Biden delivered a powerful message on Monday, urging the United States and its allies to remain steadfast in their support for Ukraine. Preparing to hand over power to Donald Trump next week, Biden praised the international coalition's efforts for Ukraine conflict. However, Biden warned that there is more to do.
There's more to do. We can't walk away. We rallied 50 nations to stand with Ukraine, not just in Europe, but for the first time in Asia as well.
Now, in South Korea, the Constitutional Court will hold the first hearing of suspended President Yoon's impeachment trial. Arguments are due to begin on Tuesday afternoon in a trial to decide the fate of President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was impeached after a short-lived bid to impose martial law through the country into the worst political chaos in decades. The full-fledged hearing will begin exactly a month after the case was filed on the 14th of last month. The Constitutional Court must decide within 180 days whether to remove Yoon from office or restore his presidential powers. Yoon also faces a criminal investigation for alleged insurrection, with authorities seeking to execute an arrest warrant after he ignored summons to appear for questioning. Separate to the trial, a joint team of investigators from the Corruption Investigation Office, which is probing Yoon over insurrection, and police are preparing a fresh attempt to arrest Yoon. An earlier attempt failed after Yoon's presidential guards blocked access to investigators. If the new warrant is executed successfully, Yoon would become the first sitting South Korean president to be arrested. If eventually convicted in that case, Yoon faces prison or even the death penalty. North Korea on Tuesday fired an unidentified missile towards the east coast of South Korea. South Korea's military said that North Korea fired an unidentified projectile towards East Sea. The launch came about a week after the North Korea fired what it claimed was a new intermediate-range hypersonic ballistic missile, which was North Korea's first missile test since November 5th. And the latest launch also occurred days before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, who held unprecedented summits with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during his first term and has touted their personal rapport, returns to office. Now, Greenland looking to strengthen its defense and mining ties with the United States, albeit on its own terms, following renewed interest from US President-elect Donald Trump. Greenland Prime Minister Amrit said his government was looking for ways to cooperate with the United States and that it was ready to start a dialogue with Trump's incoming administration, but stressed it would be up to it to decide how it should proceed. Egede has summoned the leaders of Greenland's political parties to a meeting in the capital Nuuk to discuss a collective approach to the US interest. Donald Trump, who takes office on January 20th last week, returned to an idea floated during his first term of acquiring the strategically important and mineral-rich Arctic island and described US control of Greenland as semi-autonomous Danish territory as an absolute necessity. In sports, the Indian Open is set to kick off on Tuesday at the KD Jadhav Indoor Hall in New Delhi. Over 200 players from top badminton nations will battle for glory. India is fielding its largest ever contingent with 46 players and 22 entries across 5 categories. Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty, Lakshya Sen, HS Pranoy and PV Sindhu will lead the charge for India. Satvik and Chirag, fresh off a semi-final run at the Malaysia Open, aim for their first title of 2025. In men's singles, Lakshya and Pranoy will seek to bounce back from disappointing outings in Kuala Lumpur. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.